Students, in this class we are going to learn how to calculate the number of sigma bonds and pi bonds in any organic compound. The basic concept we know that if the carbon is surrounded by single covalent bond, that bond will be considered as sigma. All those single bonds will be considered as sigma bonds. And we also know that in case of unsaturation, if the carbon is surrounded by double bond, then among those two bonds, one will be sigma and one is pi bond, and single bonds will be sigma bonds only. If the carbon is surrounded by triple covalent bond, then among the three bonds, one bond is a sigma and remaining two bonds are pi. Between carbon and carbon, among the three bonds, one sigma and remaining two are pi, and the single covalent bonds are always sigma bonds. We have one trick also to find out the number of sigma bonds. Sigma bonds is equal to number of carbon atoms in a compound minus 1 plus number of other atoms. For example, we have one compound here, HCONH2. If you want to find out the number of sigma bonds, then the number of carbon atom in the compound is 1 according to the formula 1 minus 1 plus the number of other atoms. The other atoms are 1, 2, 1 hydrogen, 1 oxygen and 1 nitrogen and these 2 hydrogen. It will be 5. So 1 minus 1 0 plus 5 is equal to 5. So there are 5 sigma bonds, and to find out the number of pi bonds, we need to expand the structure. When we expand, we'll come to know that between carbon and oxygen there are double bond. One is sigma and one is pi. So in this compound, the number of sigma bonds are 5 and the number of pi bonds are 1. We have one more example here. There is one compound. In this compound, the number of sigma bonds. So there are 3 carbon atoms minus 1 plus the number of other atoms, 2 hydrogen plus 2 hydrogen 4. So 3 minus 1 2 plus 4 is equal to 6. There are 6 sigma bonds. Let us find out whether this compound has 6 sigma bonds or not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And in case of carbon-carbon double bond, 1 sigma bond and 1 pi bond. So that's why here 1 pi bond and here 1 pi bond. So the number of sigma bonds are 6 and pi bonds are 2 in this compound. We have one more example here. Here the total number of carbon atoms are 10. To find out the number of sigma bonds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So total number of carbon atoms are 10 here. It's the ethyl group. Minus 1 plus the other atoms. There are total 16 other atoms are there. So we will get total number of sigma bonds are 5. And pi bonds, among this double bond, 1 pi bond. Among this triple bond, 1 sigma and 2 pi. So there are 3 pi bond. When you expand the structure, you will come to know. So there are total 25 sigma bonds and 3 pi bonds.